philosophy. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with understanding. I don't have the exact correct answer, but I'm fairly confident that we're getting closer and closer by observing things through science, not by a hunch. Because I don't see how you can falsify something that's a god or a...
Okay, let me just say this. Basically, my premise is this. I do not believe that a theist and an atheist are that far apart in their view. Here's where the difference is. The difference is a three-letter word called G-O-D. An atheist, under no condition, will use or say G-O-D, unless they're saying it in a derogatory sense. They will, in other words, regardless of what they discover, they will never relate it to God. They start out their research and say, I am going to research this, but I know God had nothing to do with it.
That is incorrect.
That is okay, correct.
That is actually absolutely incorrect.
Okay.
As a scientist, you start off knowing nothing. That is initially when you start.
Okay.
And you look at the data and see where it leads. You do not, under any circumstances, ever say, this is what's going to happen. This is what I think is going to happen, and so that's the direction I'm going to take. Or this, something could happen. I have no idea what it is, but I definitely know it's not this. You never, ever say that.
Yeah, but you said you definitely don't believe in God.
Right. I don't.
So you've gone there.
No, I have not.
Okay. Elaborate on that then?
There's no way really to. I don't believe in a God because I've seen no evidence to suggest that there is a God.
Yeah, but we only know a tenth of what we should know, right? I mean, we don't even know.
So, but that doesn't mean that there is a God.
No, but you're certain that there's no God. That's why you're sitting here. That's what you've said.
Yes,
No, as a scientist.
Yeah.
As a scientist, but he admits he only knows a tenth or even a 1,000th of what he should know, but he's concluded there is no God.
No, it's not that I have concluded that there is no God. It's I have seen no evidence to suggest to me that I should believe in it.
Okay, so is it possible? Is it still possible?
I mean, I guess you could say it's possible, but it's also possible that there's a teacup winning Mars.
Bad analogy, don't you think?
No. Nope. That's very... Yeah, I think, it goes back to what I said about falsification. With science, you don't go into something with, the thought ahead of time of what you expect it to believe. And what you expect to believe, what you expect your conclusion is. You see where the evidence leads you. And even after that, then you find ways to falsify it because we don't trust our senses. We don't trust ourselves. We have to find ways that we can double check us. We have to find ways. We also have our information peer reviewed, and this is a very long process. It's very difficult. So for something to get to the point where we say yes, we're confident that's correct, is a long and difficult path of testing, confirming, falsifying, or finding ways to falsify it. So yeah, it's a learning process. Now, as for a higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, there has been no evidence put forward. So I have no reason to believe in that any more than I believe in unicorns and Pegasus and tooth fairies. I mean, I believe they could exist. They could. I may be completely wrong, and there's a tooth fairy that comes by my home every night and finds I'm not losing teeth anymore. Yeah. But...
All right, so 2 out of 3 admits they could be wrong.
And so could you.
Yes.
But the point is that there's evidence. See, we don't say we accept something as being true or possibly true unless there's evidence to back it. If there is none, there's no reason why to accept it and to question or think that we should be wrong. If the evidence is put forward to confirm this, hypothesis of there being a God or higher power, then I'll welcome it. I'll be fine with seeing it. I keep asking people to show it to me. I mean, if someone has evidence, please bring it forward because no one has been able to do it yet. If you can do it, I'll change my mind. And I think it's a big difference between and I'm not saying all theists or religious people are like this, but one big difference I've noticed is that most of the atheists I know are like that. They don't necessarily put out conclusions or things based purely on assumptions. It's something that's based on evidence and confirmation, not just from a hunch or something that they were told. So if you have evidence, I would like to hear what evidence.
Well, here's what I find curious, is you can say, and I understand what you're saying, that there might have been a creation.
No, I don't say there was any creation.
You didn't. Correct me. What did you say earlier about the possibility of
Well,
matter?
anything's possible.
Matter had to be created at some point?
I said anything's possible, really. As for, do I think there might have been a creation? No, I don't think that there's any evidence right now to put that forward any more than there is a tooth fairy. So, I mean, yeah, if you want to say I believe there might have been a creation as much as I believe in the tooth fairy, then that's fine.
Okay, now here's what I think is unfair. That's a bad analogy. For instance, basically the atheist argument falls into two categories. This, as far as all existence.
That's
Wait a minute,
incorrect.
let me finish. Here's what I call the poof theory. This is everything came into existence by absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Wait a minute, let me give you the second one. The second one is, at one time, everybody in this room and everything in this room was smaller, and everything in the universe was smaller than a head of a pin, and then it exploded. Now, how is that any more irrational? Believing those two things, the poof theory and the fact that we've been smaller than the head of a pin, how has that been any more irrational than saying it's a God?
Because there's data to back that up.
There's data to back up which one?
The fact that
Both of them?
No, the Big Bang. Are you talking about the Big Bang?
Oh, the Big Bang.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
All of them. Right.
Well, I mentioned both, so you're saying there's scientific,
There's data.
there's data for both. The poof theory,
No, the Big Bang. The Big Bang.
the Big Bang, not the poof theory.
Correct.
Okay.
Though if you're insinuating that all atheists are saying that everything came from nothing, well, first of all, I'll say that's incorrect. You're setting up a false dichotomy. There is more than two different ways atheists think. There's many. There's quite a
I
variety.
know, I'm here debating you, not...
Well, but I just want to correct that.
that.
You said you had two different kind of ways atheists argue. There are more than two. So I want that to be clear. There's many different ones. And as for coming from nothing, we never stated it came from nothing. You're the one that's stating that. And define nothing to me. What does nothing mean?
Well,
Define.
if you say that...
No, I want you to define nothing.
If you say that, well, in other words, you say that everything was created from nothing. That's what you said.
No, define nothing.
Well, from nothing. I mean, you know, what is? You know, once again, it's one of those circular questions where you want a definition that can't be given. You say that it was created from nothing. Or you say, all right, let's just use the Big Bang theory, all right? Because you were all comfortable
I
with
think you're
that.
putting your own assumptions in. I've never said it came from nothing.
Okay, let's go back to the Big Bang theory.
Okay.
We were all at one time shrunk down, smaller to the head of a pin.
Well, we weren't,
Right?
but...
So here we are now. We're all in one tiny little speck, smaller than the head of a pin. Where did that come from?
Okay, so,
Because you didn't want to debate the eternal argument before, but you do believe matter is eternal. If you once I really get you in the corner, you'll see. No? Okay. Then where did the head of the pin come from?
okay, first off, I think we should probably leave this topic because it requires sort of an advanced explanation of astrophysics and relativity that is not going to be done in the next 10 to 15 minutes. It wasn't so much that everything was shrunk down to the size of a pin. See, the idea, the word Big Bang is actually, was actually given by a group of theologists that were criticizing the original theory of Hubble that came up with in 1929. Because there wasn't actually a Big Bang. The word Big Bang sort of implies that there was some sort of explosion of matter or energy or whatnot into the space that we have. It's not actually true. What was created was the space between matter. And the space between matter now becomes the space here, the space here, the space between planets, between
So
stars.
you just spoke of a creation.
I'm sorry?
You just spoke of a creation.
No.
You didn't.
I'm saying what's created, not a creation. When you say creation, you imply that there's some sort of hand
All right.
involved. What was done was space between, it's sort of like if you imagine a cookie being baked, the chocolate chips in the cookie, as they sort of expand out, what was created was the space between the chips, not the chips themselves.
Oh, I understand. I understand.
That existed. It was there. It was there in the form of energy, which this is another sort of long explanation. Well, no, so no,
Life is good.
no one baked the proverbial cookies.
Well, something happened. I mean, something dramatic happened.
Well, not necessarily. The thing is, nobody really knows exactly what happened and why it happened. So it did happen. Now,
So nobody knows exactly what happened or why it happened, but it happened.
yes.
Okay. All right.
And just because that